At 36,000 feet in the air, inside a quiet first-class cabin, a plate of food changed everything. The black man sitting in seat 1A slowly lifted the silver lid from his meal tray. At first he thought the smell was just the airplane, but then everyone around him saw his face change. His eyes froze. His hands shook just a little, and his heart dropped. The food in front of him wasn't just bad. It wasn't just old. It wasn't just wrong. It was covered in green mold, thick, wet, growing. A meal no human should be served, and definitely not in first class. Passengers nearby gasped. One woman covered her mouth. A man whispered, "Is that mold?" But the black man didn't speak. He didn't yell. He didn't cause a scene. He just stared at the plate, as if it reminded him of a pain he thought he left behind long ago. Then, the flight attendant walked over with a smirk so cold it could freeze the clouds outside. She leaned in and whispered, "Oh, maybe you people just aren't used to real food." Everyone heard it. Everyone felt it. And yet the black man stayed. Calm, silent, powerful, because he knew something the flight attendant didn't, something that would change her life. The moment they landed, he owned the airline, and now she had just made the biggest mistake of her life. The plane hummed softly as passengers settled in. First class was peaceful, warm lights, soft music, gentle whispers. But in seat 1 sat Marcus Hale, a calm man in his mid-40s, dark skin, sharp suit. A man who carried pain the way only a black man in America learns to carry it quietly. And with dignity. Marcus wasn't just any traveler. He was the CEO of the airline. But today, he was traveling undercover as a regular first class passenger to observe how the staff treated people. He never expected to be the one facing racism today. The flight attendant, Karen Wells, walked down the aisle. Perfect hair, forced smile, sweet voice for some, sharp tone for others. She stopped at the white passenger in 1B and said, "Good afternoon, sir. Can I get you champagne?" Then she turned to Marcus, and her whole face changed. Her smile vanished. Her eyes narrowed. Her voice dropped. "You drink?" "No, sir. No respect. Just cold, rude energy." Marcus kept his cool. "Yes, water is fine." She rolled her eyes so hard, even the man next to him noticed. A few minutes later, she returned with the lunch trays. She handed fresh, hot meals to every passenger. But when she reached Marcus, she slammed his tray down with one hand. He didn't react. He simply lifted the lid, and the entire world around him stopped. The chicken was gray. The rice was green. And there were spots of mold growing across the bread. Not a little. Not by accident. This meal was rotten, something no airline would ever serve. Unless someone meant to. Marcus stared at it in silence. Karen crossed her arms. "Well, what's wrong? Food not good enough for you?" A few passengers looked over. The woman in 2A whispered, "Oh my God, that's mold." The man in 3C muttered, "That's dangerous. You can't eat that." Marcus spoke softly. "This must be a mistake. Could I get another meal?" Karen laughed. A rude, mocking laugh. A mistake. "No. That's what you get. We're all out of the good meals." Someone behind her said, "That's not true. I just heard you say we had extras." Karen shot the passenger a deadly glare. "Mind your own business." Marcus stared at the mold, and his mind drifted back to a memory he hated. He was 11 years old, hungry, standing in a school cafeteria line. He reached for a tray of food, and the lunch lady pulled it away. "We don't give seconds to kids like you," she said. "You people should be grateful you get anything at all." Marcus remembered going home hungry that day. He remembered the shame, the anger, the helplessness of being treated as less, and now, 30 years later, a grown man, a CEO, treated the same way. His throat tightened, but he refused to let the anger take over. A young woman sitting nearby raised her phone. "Hey, this isn't right," she whispered. She snapped a picture of the moldy meal. A teenager behind her whispered, "Bro, This is racism. People began murmuring. Eyes turned toward Karen, but she pretended not to notice. Marcus gently called out to her again. Ma'am, not asking for anything special. Just a meal that's safe to eat. Karen stepped closer, her voice dripping with disrespect. Listen, you're making this a bigger deal than it is. Eat what you was given. The man across the aisle spoke up. He's not making a big deal. That food is rotten. Karen snapped. I said he's fine. Marcus stayed silent. His calmness made her even more irritated. She leaned down and whispered harshly. People like you always complain. I'm sick of it. Marcus didn't move. He didn't blink. He simply opened his laptop, and on the screen was the airline board of directors page. His face. His title. His power. The passengers around him gasped. But Karen didn't see it yet. The tension spread so much that the co-pilot stepped out of the cockpit. Is everything okay here? He asked. Karen hurried over. He's causing issues, she said quickly. I think he might be aggressive. Passengers erupted. No, he wasn't. She's lying. He didn't do anything. The co-pilot frowned. Ma'am, I need the truth. But Karen stuck to her lie. Marcus stayed silent again, and that silence was louder than any words. Marcus lifted his phone, calmly took pictures of the meal. Karen stepped forward, trying to block him. You can't do that. Marcus said softly, I document things that matter. After hours of tension, the plane began to descend. Karen finally saw fear in her own reflection on the window. Marcus typed one message on his laptop. Prepare HR at the gate. Immediate meeting. Karen noticed nothing, but she soon would. The moment the plane landed, the doors opened, and standing outside were 5 airline executives in suits. Karen blinked fast. Why are they here? Marcus closed his laptop, stood up slowly, and walked past her without a word. The executives rushed to him. Double quotes. Mr. Hale, we received your report. Are you okay? Karen's face went pale. She stuttered, a Mr. Who? Marcus turned around, calm, firm, powerful. I'm Marcus Hale, he said. CEO of this airline? Karen staggered backward. You never said, he interrupted gently. I don't have to say who I am. To be treated like a human. Passengers formed a small crowd. He was calm the whole time. She served him rotten food. She was rude to him from the start. She lied to the co-pilot. Karen broke down. I didn't know who he was. Please, Marcus shook his head. You shouldn't treat anyone that way. Not even a child. Not even a stranger. Not even someone without power. Tears rolled down her face. An HR manager stepped forward. Karen Wells, you are terminated effective immediately. She cried harder. Please. I didn't mean. Marcus looked at her with a calm expression. Racism is a choice, he said, and choices have consequences. Marcus turned to the passengers. Thank you, all of you, for standing up. Even at 30,000 feet, passengers clapped. Some hugged him. Some apologized on behalf of the world. Marcus simply smiled. Let's make sure this never happens again.
Hours later,
the airline released a public statement. Apology to Marcus. Apology to passengers. A new anti-racism training program. New policy allowing passengers to report discrimination. Instantly, Insel Karen's story went viral. Millions discussed it. Many felt angry. Many felt sad. Many felt the pain Marcus carried since childhood. But Marcus didn't celebrate her downfall. He focused on change. Real change. Before the video ends, narrator speaks softly. If Marcus wasn't powerful, if he was just another black man traveling alone, would anyone have believed him? Pause. What would you have done in that moment? Tell us in the comments.